it. For anyone that doesn't know me, my name is Madison. Hi, nice to meet you. Welcome to my YouTube channel that I regularly abandon and forget about. So I've wanted to make a YouTube video about tarot for a while. I was nervous to make one because I wasn't sure what I was gonna say and I wanted it to be like perfect. So today I'm gonna paint and I'm gonna talk about tarot, some of the basics that I think are important, and kind of just introductory things about tarot if you've, never been into it or you don't really understand it. I know that it's confusing. I get a lot of questions about tarot, so I figured why not make a little video? And I asked Instagram anyone had any questions, and I got a few good questions from that. I'll be answering those while I'm painting and drinking coffee and getting high. Really quick, I want to put a disclaimer. While I have been studying tarot for like 4 years now, I am not an expert of tarot by any means. I'm always learning. Not everything I say is fact. I encourage you to do your own research and your own reading, and to also check out some other readers that I know I have learned a lot from. Jessica Dore, Lindsay Mack, Amber Kahn, The Quietest Revolution. I'll actually go ahead and link all my favorite tarot readers in the description. If you want to get more into tarot, I encourage you to follow them. So yeah, thank you. So the first question that I got from Instagram, how do you know when you're right? I thought this was interesting because it's kind of the first thing you have to learn when looking at tarot cards is like, well, how do I know when my interpretation of this card is correct? I found that tarot became a lot easier for me when I stopped wondering when I was right. And what I mean by that, I know it sounds like super deep and like dramatic, but I like to use tarot in a way that analyzes what's already there. So in a way, tarot is sort of like those ink blots that people use in therapy. It's like you look at the image and you decide how it makes you feel, you decide what you see, and you use that symbolism as sort of an interpretation of how you're feeling or to analyze how you're feeling. So rather than looking at what I think is true when I'm reading tarot cards or if I'm right, it's kind of about following your intuition, which is the gut feeling and that first thing you kind of think when you look at the cards. I know that sounds crazy, but I rely a lot on my intuition. It took me years and years and years to learn how to like actually use it and like to trust that I was right. For me, I'm clairvoyant. I get downloads, I guess, or messages from spirit, if you will, gut feelings. So when you're looking at the imagery on a card, it's important to take that initial gut reaction to the imagery. So for example, if I'm looking at the Six of Wands, I'm gonna feel a lot differently and interpret this a lot differently, that image, than if I'm looking at the Six of Swords. And I think that's something that not enough people pay attention to, especially when they're first getting into tarot, and it's something that I overlooked, was how important the imagery really is and the colors, even something as small as like where the swords are pointing. So the most important thing to me is to look at the colors on the card initially. So this obviously gloomy, and when I'm reading for someone, I really base it off of that initially, kind of follow my intuition from there. Meditation really helped, just kind of like listening to your inner voice in your everyday life in order to learn how to gauge your intuition, learn how to turn it on and off and things like that. So strengthening that helps you when you're kind of looking at the cards and you're deciding what it means for that reading. It's really important not to rely on the meanings of the cards that you find in books or online or whatever. Really, really important to trust your intuition in that moment, because it could mean one thing for someone in one reading and mean a completely different thing for someone else. Like, every card has a million different meanings, so it's up to you to decide what you're feeling in that moment as you're reading it. And after a while of reading other people's meanings of cards and stuff, I kind of came to my own conclusions of what I felt every card kind of meant. So over time, you kind of build your own archive of meanings and come to a general consensus. It's just about taking the time to get to know the card. Another question that I got was, how do I know when I'm ready to read for others? I think that this is going to be different for everyone. everyone. I think there's some people that probably just shouldn't read cards for other people. I don't think tarot cards are necessarily meant to always like capitalize off of or anything. I think it's actually really good to use them as more of a tool and for guidance and like validation, evaluation of your feeling of the world around you. With that being said though, I've also learned a lot of what I know about tarot by reading other people. Practicing and reading for like friends and family and stuff is fun, and I don't think there's really any harm in doing that. I don't think tarot cards are always there to predict the future. A lot of how I use it is for like therapeutic reasons. It's really up to you when you want to read cards for others, because I know some people that are really sensitive, and like when I first started out, I really only read for people that I really trusted and that I knew trusted me. It's important because it is an energy exchange of sorts. You know, a tarot reading can turn into a therapy session really quickly. It can also be really cool to read for others because you can kind of practice your channeling. And when I say channeling, I mean kind of tapping into the other person's energy, and that's how I read for other people, and good for practicing seeing the cards in a different way other than how you kind of see them applying to your life and maybe how you see them apply to other people's. That's a lot of the majority of how I learned tarot. Now this becomes something else when you start charging for readings. I don't think if you want to start reading tarot only with the intention of making money, just probably don't. Or if you want to read for others only with the intention of making money, probably don't. I know it took me a really long time to build the confidence to read for others and kind of to where I felt morally okay to be charging people. It took me about 4 years to start charging and reading. I mean, obviously in high school, I really didn't feel like I had the emotional kind of maturity to read for other people. I don't think that there's like a rule book for how long you have to study tarot before you read for other people. It's kind of just up to you, as long as you're doing it for the right reasons. So the next question that I got, how long should you wait between readings? I know I'm so annoying, but this is another thing that's kind of like up to you. I think it's definitely advisable to wait a month between readings, at least a month or two, but it also depends on what kind of readings you're getting. If you're getting really smaller general readings about a question or something like that you can get more often. But overall, I think it's just kind of when you feel called to. But yeah, generally I would say like a month or two, just because I think it can kind of warp your view on reality a little bit too. I've gone into time periods where I get way too many psychic readings and like kind of forget that I'm in control of my life and that I have free will. Now, I don't know if this is a thing that other people do or if that's just me. Sorry, I took a little break. I literally can't talk. So the next question that I got was, is it true that your first deck should always be gifted? Now, I was always told this. I think that this definitely makes sense because you should wait until tarot comes to you. But also, if you want to buy your own deck, I don't think it's that big of a deal, as long as it feels right to you. I wouldn't ever decide to buy a deck on a whim or anything like that. I would definitely research your deck, research where you're buying it from. Like, don't order a fucking Rider-Waite deck off of Amazon. Just please, like, it just doesn't make sense. It's not morally right. You know, try to find somewhere local. I bought mine from a local bookstore, and I just bought the traditional Rider-Waite deck. It's actually still the deck that I have. I don't think it's a bad thing to buy your own deck, as long as you do the research, as long as you're not feeling nervous about it, you know what your intentions are. And that was all of the questions that I actually got on Instagram. If you guys want to see more tarot videos, I am more than down to film more videos talking about it, or even film some pick a card videos. I don't know if that's something that people would watch. I feel kind of weird doing it because pick a card videos is like a whole nother topic. Like, there's a lot of people that do bullshit pick a card videos that are redundant, and they're just like oversaturated on YouTube, these pick a card videos. So that's why I question if I want to get into that or not. And now it's becoming a thing on Witch Talk. So I don't know. Thank you for watching if you made it to the end. I hope to make more tarot videos, and I hope you learned something. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. Tell me if I should do pick a cards or not. Thanks so much. Goodbye.